With so much software available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 15 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. The vacation rental industry isn't about having the nicest property in the best location. It's not about growing your inventory or having the best tech stack. It's about luring the guest, making them bite the hook and reeling them in. Without guests, we have nothing. And what can we do to keep those guests that actually find us? Well, today I'm chatting with Matt, who will tell us about a huge carrot we can dangle in front of those guests that might just seal the deal. The carrot is Explory. Hello, Matt, and how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming along. And sorry for all those analogies. I'm just in an analogy mood.
I thought it was an excellent intro. It was. I may steal some of it.
With pleasure. We're gonna launch straight into it. And in one sentence, can you please tell me, what does Explory do?
Yeah. So Explory is the hospitality industry's only experience-driven marketing solution. So all of our solutions revolve around how do I leverage local tours and attractions in a way that helps us drive rate and drive occupancy. Mm-hmm. And doing that through providing a higher value to the guests, but also in a way that builds guest loyalty. Because at the end of the day, very few of us got into the industry of hospitality to, maintain homes, clean homes, although that is certainly part of the business, right? We got in because there was something about us that loved travel. And at travel's core is the experiences. We go to markets to really experience a market. And so Explory is built to help hospitality professionals leverage those local tours and attractions to excite the traveler.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a property manager. I'm coming to Explory. What is the process and what do I get to give to my guests?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of products. Our most popular in the US, we have about 15,000 vacation rentals across about 50 markets that utilize what we call Experience Pro, which is they will work with Explory to build a suite or a program of complimentary attractions that they provide to their guests every day of the guest stay as a means of differentiating themselves from their competition and increasing that guest loyalty. So in a beach market with an Explory partner, it wouldn't be uncommon for you to receive a complimentary round of golf each day, a complimentary ticket on a snorkeling tour, maybe a dolphin cruise, maybe zip lining, and maybe a free scoop of ice cream.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So when I sign up to you and we work through all of these local attractions and offers, I then offer my guest something for free for every day of their stay. Now, obviously, they don't have to do it, but it's for every day, not just one day of their stay.
That's right. It's one adult ticket or pass or rental or whatever you've got there for each day of their stay. They can use all of them in the same day. Yeah. The next day they can use them all again. To your point, some days they don't use any of them. Yeah. But it's about providing them access to those best local tours and attractions that, if I'm inclined to go on a dolphin cruise, I'm going to go and I may take my two daughters with me and the complimentary ticket for the adult. And I just have to buy some tickets for my daughter. So on average, it's in the US, it's about $250 to $400 a day of some complimentary attractions for the guests. And just like all of our other amenities, right? The best way to think about this product is just like a 6-seater golf cart in a beach market. I can charge more for my units. They've got 6-seater golf carts. There's a value there. Some guests use it every day. Some guests, it sits in the garage and they never use it. But I'm trying to figure out, how do I get outside of my 4 walls, bring value that adds value to my homeowners through rates, adds value to my guests, but that isn't a large capital expenditure. And so we believe local tours and attractions are no different than those golf carts or a hot tub in a ski market.
So when if I sign up with you, do I end up with like a menu of all the local attractions and I say, okay, I want to offer this, this, and this, or you just have, these are all the local attractions and you let the guest choose?
No, it's important. It's an important point. Every one of our programs is custom built by the property manager for their guests, because we have some partners who, a lot of their clientele, their demographics are maybe high-end affluent families, or some of them have got, they've got condos that are a little bit, less expensive. And so we'll build programs. They've got activities that their demographics are looking to go. So it's all curated. Now whatever additional activities we have in the area, the guests can book all those and we'll provide them discounts to those things and things like that. But you want to build a custom program, and then our partners rotate those each year, which is really cool. Not entirely, but they'll pick 2 or 3 things that maybe aren't getting used as much and they'll swap it out. So they've got new things to talk to their guests about each year.
Now, before you were saying that they can do all of them or they can do one. So if, let's say I'm offering 5 things, they can actually do 5 free things every day.
Every single day. And they can even break up if they want to. And we do have some families, larger groups where 3 or 4 of them want to go on that snorkeling cruise and 2 or 3 of them want to go parasailing. So the first one's free at parasailing. They just pay for the additional. They can break up into ones. There is no, it's the one rule, I guess, with Exploria is we don't do, these aren't buy one, get ones.
Yeah.
There's no strings attached, right? Because then all of a sudden it feels gimmicky.
Yeah.
But if you truly, if you say, well, I just want to go play golf by myself, great. It's free. And you brand it with the property manager. Yep.
Yeah. The psychology, I heard something recently, the psychology of buy one, get one free versus get one free. The free thing is the buzzword. The guests everyone loves something for free. So
and discounts just, it's not that they're not valued, right? But we live in more of a Groupon world where I think the consumer is a little bit of a skeptic when they see $10 off, $15. They just kind of feel like you've marked up the price and now you're discounting it again.
Yeah.
But if you tell them, hey, no, this is complimentary. I want you to enjoy. It's part of staying with us is we want you to experience this area. Now, all of a sudden you're building connections, right? And you're building loyalty.
Back to analogies. The booking is the cake and this is the big slab of icing on top.
That's right. It's why they're there. For most of our markets, the home is beautiful and they care, but they're coming to that market for a reason, right? And it's usually to enjoy the things that at that market. I mean, you being in the south of France, all about this, right? I mean, those markets, people are very loyal to these markets.
Yeah. And I suppose it would also drive a lot of repeat bookings. If you're getting something for free, you'd be coming back because you've got all of these free experiences on top of the accommodation. Then definitely would drive repeat.
And driving those direct bookings, right? Which is a big piece. So even if I find your property maybe through one of the channels, if I get there and I'm a big golfer and I enjoy some complimentary rounds of golf, next year when I go back, I'm not going to go back to that channel and search through them. But no, we got to stay at the place where I get the free golf, right? So it is, it's really how, and again, it goes back to our whole purpose, which is how do I leverage these local attractions in a way that meaningfully drives my underlying business, as opposed to, I think, in the past, our industry, the idea was, well, I'll sell activities, right? And we have a lot of partners who at one point did that, and they quickly find out, look, there's not a ton of money in it. It can be it's very difficult. You're dealing with tickets and how do I get it to them? And then they need to cancel and the weather. But So there's value. We just believe that the value is maybe not as obvious as it seems, right? To sell them tickets. The value is how do I partner with these groups to really keep people coming back?
Now, I've got a juicy question about cost, but I'm going to save that for later on.
Sure.
Now, I also saw on your website about concierge service. Oh, no, sorry. Let's just go back. With this menu, right? So if I'm a property manager, I've got this menu on board. How does it work to get to the guest, to get the menu to the guest?
Yep. So we handle all of that. So we handle all of our partners' guest communications, their guest journey around the market and around the activities from the time they book on. So our partners, we do help them with assets for their websites and things like that on how to better really leverage these programs and market them on the channels and on their websites. That's on them though. But from the time they book through our integrations, the guests go on a separate email journey about just, hey, here's all your complimentary activities. Here's the things to do. All of it is dynamic. So if this guest clicks on snorkeling, the next couple emails they see are very often on water type activities, right? Because they're indicating their interest. And it's really, but what's great is it's all curated. So it's not sending them to a TripAdvisor site or a Yelp or this is truly, hey, here are the things I really recommend that you go do in the area. And that's where, again, it adds to that authenticity.
So you are like the experiences manager. Once they book, then you take over. Now, again, this is one of my later questions, but I'm going to ask it now. Once they move into that area, is it branded or is it your brand?
It's all branded. Yep. Explory, we consider a soft brand. So you'll see powered by Explory.
Yeah.
In places, but no, even the emails lead with your upcoming stay at Timber Tops, right? And we want to lead with that because that's why people partner with us is we're helping them build that brand, build that loyalty, and that loyalty has to go back to them, or we're really just another channel. I mean, I hate to say that like it's a 4-letter word, but no, that's really core to what we do.
Lovely, great. Now, okay, so moving on, concierge service. So how does that work? And then also you've got this virtual concierge, and I'm not even going to, I don't know how to say the word. Zera? Is it Zera?
It's Ziva. Yeah.
Ziva,
yeah. So, so kind of our entry level product is, hey, and there's some good reasons why, some property managers, depending upon your business model or how you're trying to position your brand, complimentary activities may not be something you're looking to do, but you still want to elevate that guest experience. You don't have the staff you're not going to go around and contract with all these activities, right? And then handle all the bookings. So that's where we do offer a solution where we'll come in with our activity partnerships or we'll build them in new markets and then offer the guest that kind of on-demand concierge service. So there's a live person we hire. In the US, we have 75 across our 50 markets, but they are local to the area. What we say is local to the region, but they've been to the area quite a bit. So these are people who can speak to the best things to do, right? And what you're about to do. So they've got somebody they can talk to, but they're also then not taking up your reservationist time, whose jobs, frankly, are to, get more of your units booked. So that's where our agents specialize in. And so, and it offers your guest discounts and everything else, still fully branded. 95% of guests believe they're calling the property manager, and we want them to, right? And so we actually answer the phone, thank you for calling Timber Tops, a proud Explorer participating property, right? Getting all of that to come back. And then you mentioned Ziva. So a couple of years ago, we were looking at ways to just, again, eliminate that friction for the guests. And so what we did was we ended up partnering with Amazon, and we built a custom built voice solution that sits in right today about 6,000 of our units. It just launched about a year ago, but it effectively took Amazon's Alexa devices and turned them into in-room concierge. So she will answer everything from what is the Wi-Fi password to where are the spare pillows, where do I take the trash or the rubbish, what, parking, what time does the pool close? If it's in a condo building, what are the quiet hours? But also she answers all of the local information about restaurants and things to do and festivals. And all of that is maintained by Explore's team, right? Because it's just really an extension of what we're already doing.
Yes, voice concierge. Yeah. I haven't heard about voice for a while, but it's good to know that you've got it going over there.
Yeah, we're actually the number one, or actually now we're the second largest Amazon hospitality partner in the world behind Disney. I've got one of the little devices sitting here. Here's their the ones we're coming out with this fall they've got screens so you can brand them. But we've even built features. So one of the cool things we built, they can check out now through them, and they can leave voice reviews. Just they can request maintenance and housekeeping. She actually can help the guest self-solve problems. If there's a problem with a hot tub or things, she can give recommended solutions before she contacts maintenance. So we've found there's a lot of operational efficiencies that we've been able to build into her, and the engagement has been through the roof. So last year in the US, across those 6,000 devices, we averaged it was like 6.1 questions per day per reservation.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a lot of questions. Wow.
Yeah. They sit around the kitchen and they just, they have fun with it. And you as a property manager, you can see on the back end, the audio is we've got hotel grade security, so you don't get any audio files, but you do get to see what are guests asking, the answers we're providing, and things like that. So you can get an understanding of what are the questions my guests have.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you using AI to improve that, or is this
We are.
Oh, great.
Yep. She continues to learn and get better. 85% of questions last year answered, she had the answer to. There's no invocation. So the guests speak to her, which I think leads to that engagement. They speak to her the same as they do an Alexa device at home. For those of your listeners, maybe a new voice, maybe even a couple of years ago, one of the big hurdles we had to get over was guests are not on vacation going to say, hey, Alexa, ask Explore or ask, they're just not going to. So we had to find a way where you talk to it like a normal device, like you would your phone or a device at home, but it's all curated local information about that unit, that complex, that resort, and that market.
That's great. Now, my next question is, do you have a unique selling point? I mean, your whole business sounds pretty unique, but do you have a unique selling point?
Yeah, I think the business model is the unique selling point, right? Which is, how do I leverage or how do I partner with local attractions?
Yeah.
I think that's really our unique selling point. And I think too, the fact that we do all the legwork on the content of the partnerships with the activities and handle all of that. Those two things I think make us really unique in the space. There are a number of really good solutions out there, apps, tablets that provide a marketplace, but it's still the owners goes back to the property managers to, okay, now you're going to run around and talk to all these restaurants and you're going to advertise these deals. And look, inevitably the content becomes stale. Guests have bad experiences because they show up and they go, oh, don't I get 10% off? Right. And it's not that it's not a great idea. It's just, in all of our businesses, there's only so many things you can focus on in a day. And we believe the attractions are really important, but it's a lot unless you're going to manage, 20,000 units, it's a lot to maintain.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask about white labeling, but I love the fact that you said that everything is branded to the property manager. So you are just the experience manager powered by Explore. That's great. Keep the guest aware of the brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's it's definitely core to the vacation rental industry for sure. And I think hotels they understand the value of the brand, right? I think our brands in vacation rentals just tend to be a little more regional. Yeah. But absolutely.
So as a property manager, are you obviously integrated with my PMS? So how many PMSs are you integrated with? Is it growing?
Yeah, it's 15 in the US. We're adding about 2 or 3 a quarter.
Mhm.
So most recently, so that number will go to, I think, 17, Guesty, Lightmaker. But yes, we have all, especially in the US, we have all the major brands. And then our first international market is going to be the UK this fall, Super Control. So we're starting to integrate there, and even some really cool third-party integrations that we're looking into, so that Alexa can also trigger housekeeping apps, other tech, third-party tech you may be running to use, to run your back of house operations and things like that. But yes, the point of the property management software systems are a really important integration for us.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, who is your target audience? In fact, I'm going to start off with, where is your target audience first? Because it does sound it's predominantly America.
It is predominantly America right now. But more important to us, even as we expand, the one thing that's not going to change is right now, we see our purpose in our market in serving leisure lodging. So, and a lot of that has to do, that's where the experiences are most important. And then pre-COVID, that meant a little bit more. Almost all travel right now feels like it's leisure travel. But so leisure markets are really important to us. Primarily property management companies. We do have some hotels, boutique hotels in leisure markets where it makes sense, RV resorts, as we refer to them in the US, but primarily vacation rentals. And in the US, they're managing on average, about 150 rentals. Our largest has about 1,000. So we always, we find that the ones who are seeking Explore out are usually what I would say your mid as far as size. They're usually not the ones at the top. Let's all be honest. When you're at the top in a market, the view looks perfect. Nothing needs to change, right? But it's those operators that are halfway up that mountain, kind of looking at the top going, okay, how am I going to differentiate? I want to get to where that person is, and I need to do something that's different. That's typically where you find a lot of Explore's partners.
Yeah. Now, my question from the beginning that I've been busting to ask.
Yes.
If you're offering all of these free things for my guests, this is going to cost me a fortune, isn't it? How much does it cost to be part of Explore?
Luckily, it does not. I think that's how we build it. So our average program for complementary activities for our Experience Pro in the US last year was $6.25 a night, an occupied night.
Yeah. Per person or per property?
Nope, per property.
Okay.
And our average property last year realized an ADR increase of $8.50 per night versus what we'd call similarly situated, their cohorts, right, in that market. So we look at it, we believe, and it's not for every one of our partners. Some of them, we've got to continue to do better, but it should be a profit center. Explorer should be a profit center. And on average last year, it was to about the tune of a couple bucks a night. I mean, it's not, huge amounts of money, but this is not a marketing expense, right? You ought to be able, on your P&L, you should be able to flow through your Explore money and say, okay, we owe Explore $6.25. We've been able to achieve an average of $8.50 additional above where we otherwise would have with our properties.
Yeah, great.
Really
great. Now, also then with all of the onboarding and things like that, is there a contract? Once I come on board with you, do I have to lock in for a month or a year?
Yep. So our upfront, our initial term is 2 years actually. And here's why for that. When our clients sign up, we have something called pre-book. So you're going to have a bunch of guests on your books that didn't pay your increased now ADR, but are going to be staying when you're offering it. And the last thing you want to tell those guests are, oh, you booked too early. Isn't that kind of the point, right? Aren't we all trying to get them to book a year out? So, so we cover all of those because we want them to experience the complementary activities. And we know that it will encourage them to come back. So that first year is really a losing proposition for Explore. After that is just a simple rolling annual contract. Each year it comes up and you can choose to extend. but we're proud. We've been doing this in the US for 25 years. A lot of people will be surprised. Actually, it'll be 26 years this year.
Wow.
And we have a 98% client retention rate. We have many clients who have been with us since the late 90s. And so we're excited. We're excited about the value it's bringing our partners.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that you're in the US, but you're also opening up in the UK, and you mentioned France. That's a little further down the line.
Yep, France. We're hoping early next year. Right now, the concierge is available. We are working hopefully by the end of the year for the complementary. The EU has a packaging law, which was really designed around packaging, airlines, and lodging. But unfortunately, is anything more than $20 a day in value, which our activities obviously easily fulfill. So we've got some filings that need to be done, and we have to pay into a little bit of an insurance to protect the consumers for that. So hopefully that product will be available by the end of the year.
Yeah, great. Good. Well, that's come to the end of my usual questions. Was there something else that I haven't asked that you think we should know?
No, I'm surprised most people don't understand our product as well as you did going in. So I think everything we touched upon I think what differentiates us and why it's worth a consideration. And even if it's not through Explory, I would just tell your listeners, maybe think differently. Hopefully, if anything, this challenge you think differently about your partnerships with these really good local activities and providers, and how you work together as a community to really bolster your market. If we can do that, even if you don't use Explory, like that's a win.
Yeah, collaboration and community.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah. Well, I like the experience manager and I like the free. I think they're two really, really good things going. That's great. Well, Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and getting to understand Explory a little bit more. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you. Bye.